What does it mean to stand on the shoulders of giants? It means dedication. It means passion. It means empathy. It means fighting for what is right. And yet, we feel like our rights, our civil rights, were fought for in the past, in far lands. But what if I tell you that the fight is here, only a couple of miles from your home? The historic events happen on the streets you walk daily. That these people we call heroes of civil rights also believe they stood on the shoulders of giants. And through the inspiration of their past, and through the action of change they brought, they became our giants. So as we recognize how far we have come, looking up from the shoulders of these giants, our giants, we must look back to acknowledge these heroes.
And if it wasn't for leaders like Santos Manuel, who took these communities, these villages, to hide up in the mountains, these communities would have been wiped out.
Riverside has its own history of civil rights effort and struggle and commitment. We think of civil rights as being something that takes place far away, but it's also so clear that in Riverside, there have been local heroes who have done everything.
So you have Eliza Tibbetts, for instance, who was a women's suffragette, but who launched the citrus industry in Riverside and made it the world capital of the navel orange. And An Chang-ho was the liberator of South Korea. He wrote the national anthem for Korea. The Hararas could keep the house which Jukichi had bought in the name of his children. So this was a defining moment in housing rights for the United States of America.
For all those people, they were involved. They took that extra step to get out there, and that's what we have to continue to do. It's a journey of 1,000 miles, going with the first step.
She was a Japanese-American artist. She was born in Riverside. She was incarcerated along with 125,000 other Japanese-Americans. She created hundreds and hundreds of drawings of her experiences. These images are extraordinary. Here she is surrounded by 2 U.S. soldiers, guards in the camps with rifles, right? It just meant so much to me as an Asian American.
He became a realtor on a daily basis. He saw the kind of discrimination, the kind of segregation, the kind of hostility that African Americans faced.
And one of my heroes is this man called Dilip Sound, was elected as the first Indian American congressman, but he was responsible for giving Indian Americans the right to vote.
My first encounter in Riverside County happened to be marching with Cesar Chavez in the fields of Coachella Valley.
As many people know, when you're the first, it's very difficult. You're being judged.
He and some others had put together a study of segregation in housing. That led to an effort in Riverside to end discrimination in housing.
Arthur Littleworth was one of the calmest men I had seen in a long time. To be a civil rights leader means sacrifice.
Both of them, steered the first voluntary desegregation of any school district in the United States of America.
When I think about civil rights, I think of these iconic figures. Rupert Costo.
Tim Hayes was then the editor and owner of the Press Enterprise. He was astonished at the results.
Tomás Rivera was the first Latino chancellor that the University of California system had.
These people inspired me by making me understand it was possible to actually make a change.
It's these local heroes, through their efforts, kept these communities alive.
If you look at civil rights heroes, they're in our backyard. It's extremely important. We cannot forget them because there were people who were fighting for our right to be there.
The most inspiring person was my partner, Kay. She really had vision. He had walked precincts against a proposition related to redlining.
I always have hope because you can make that one act of difference.
She knew that this was a very important case and that it was very important to get it right.
It speaks beyond its moment, but it speaks from a moment. And that's just one example of why arts in general are important.
Yesterday, the story was told, and the foundation was set. Today, you are a part of telling the story here at the Civil Rights Institute. And tomorrow, it may be your turn to become a giant, and we will then continue to stand on the shoulders of giants.